So, what was I saying before? Yeah, I don't really like introductions. That's what I was saying before. We was talking about introductions. And so, but,
It's okay.
yeah, no. One thing for sure, it's a viewpoint. That everything can literally work out for your good. And it's biblical too.
Yes.
For sure. Because like when I be on stage doing open mics, I mess up a lot. And it's so easy, depending on like how you think, to look at that mess up as like, dang. And then you kind of just let it just deflate you and just, but you can also use that to your advantage. You can use anything to your advantage.
Yeah.
I can say a bad joke, and because the joke is so bad,
it's not
joke. Funny. So, you just have to know how to use things. Like it's just how you look at it. Like every time I lie to you, you can go on my page right now. People think I be doing it on purpose. I don't. Like I be forgetting the lyrics, and then one thing or another, somebody said something that makes me think of something, and then we just flow with it.
Yeah.
And it's always better than what you had previously thought when it just flows like that. So I never sit there and start getting mad or defeated over something that doesn't go as planned.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, what if you tell a bad joke and then no one laughs, and then you try to use the fact that no one laughs as its own joke and no one laughs at that?
You see, there are times where you do just have to take the L. But you got to be really, really like. It's just guys. I think those are really rare, but it really happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even that, the thing about humor for me is that, from my experience and this is just me. I find it that when you try to make other people laugh, or when the majority of your intention is solely based on someone else's approval or pleasing somebody, I think you rob yourself or you limit, like, I don't know, how funny you can be or how, just the authenticity of it.
Yeah.
I truly find that just make yourself laugh.
Yeah.
And whoever laughs,
yeah.
The goal, like for me, the goal is I do stuff. I make myself laugh.
Exactly.
I don't. If you don't like it, that's up to
cool.
you.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's up.
That's fine. But like I feel like I used to tell jokes because I used to do that a lot. I used to people please a lot, even in elementary school and stuff. And then like my whole goal was just to make you laugh. And then even if maybe I didn't think it was like the funniest thing, but I just wanted to make other people laugh. I was like, nah. As I grow up, I'm like, that's not the way. I say things because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And if you laugh, cool.
Yeah, that's what's up. Those are the best kinds of jokes.
Yeah.
The jokes that no one else laughs at but you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I'll laugh by myself and I'll enjoy myself. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a beautiful place to be. I can only speak for myself, but I do believe it's healthy too, because you try and just do things just for other people and other people's approval. I don't see how far that takes you. And just relax too. Yeah? When you try too hard to do anything, and you come so far out of your original or authentic self, I think it just takes away from something from whatever you're doing, whether you're trying to tell a joke or you're trying to do something like this.
Yeah.
When you come outside of yourself, bro, you just feel
it's not natural anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wise words.
But I don't know what's going on, man. But I love it. So we have with us, man, the legend himself, the DMV legend, my guy Tochi Opara. Bro, it's been like 2-3 years, bro.
I don't even.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, probably like 4.
That's actually insane.
Yeah. Probably like 4. Yeah.
I haven't seen you in 4 years, bro.
Was the last time that we filmed the conversation the last time you saw me? I don't think so. Because I think I saw you on your birthday, but around that area for all intents and purposes. Yeah, it's been a brick. Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, it's been a brick. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
How's life, man?
Busy. You played my song earlier, and it was like a blast from the past, and it kind of made me feel like, dang, like I should make music again, you know? Like, dang, like I feel like as a result of me getting like I guess like a big boy job or like, you know, just like, I guess like moving on in that area of my life, I've kind of, I don't know. I feel like I've evolved in other ways. And then in other ways, I feel like I've like almost abandoned other parts of myself that I don't really appreciate. But it was cool to be able to hear my song. Like, I totally forgot that I made music.
When's the last time you put something out?
Probably that. Probably Gervonta, yeah. Probably Gervonta. And the crazy part is around that time, I was recording a whole bunch of songs that I had plans to release. I just never released it. Probably because of like what you were talking about, or like perfectionism. But I don't know, man. Like hearing that kind of makes me want to make music again. I don't know. I just don't be having a lot of time, but that's not an excuse. But yeah, that's how life is. What about you?
Nah, man, I've just been taking everything one day at a time.
TikTok famous.
Nah.
Celebrity. We know how it is. We know.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I just I'm just enjoying what God's doing for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even like you said the TikTok or anything like that. That stuff I don't know. I've just always kind of known what's real and what's fake.
Okay.
I can't explain it.
Okay.
Because I think you can always scale things. Like I've just always known how I felt about like the new shoe I got. Let me.
New shoe?
Wait, let me.
Okay.
Like, so like the things that you really crave for. Like maybe back then we all wanted to be famous. We all wanted to blow up. We all wanted to do well. And some of those things are not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But like I always found out like the things that I've always really wanted. I just felt like human nature. Nothing really ever fulfills the human heart. To me, outside than God.
Yeah.
So when I would get like something I really wanted, whether it's a new pair of shoe or go see that movie that I've been waiting for, and like once you get it, it's like you get the new pair of shoes and it's like 2 weeks later, it's like I used to really rearrange my whole closet, like make way for like
yeah.
But I did like also real like you gotta go.
Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, I'm kicking them off, and I'm like,
it's whatever.
It's like whatever. So I've always kind of just known like, I feel like that's the way. The same. I can apply that to other areas of like success or other areas of things I really want on a large scale of things. Like, you get the million views, then what? It has to be. There always has to be something deeper than these things that are fleeting. I feel like to drive you.
It's interesting. It's a cool conversation, bro. It's a cool conversation. I think it's philosopher Seneca. I'm not sure, but somebody said, one of them. Can I curse? No, it's okay. I won't. One of those Greek guys. One of those Greek guys said, "You suffer much more in your mind than you do in reality." Right? And what you just said makes me think about how we tend to amplify things in our heads. And in this situation with the new shoes, it's a positive thing, right? And it's not necessarily the shoes that was creating all this joy and all this like blah, 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 whatever, but it's the anticipation. You know what I'm saying? It's like what's happening in your head. You know what I'm saying? Almost like Christmas, right? Like Christmas from December, like when you were a kid, from December all the way up until the 25th, you got this Christmas list. You're asking your parents, "Oh yeah, give me this," and then the night
lights
before,
are coming on.
The night before, it's like you can't even sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you finally get the gift. You're so excited. You're so happy. And a week later, it's like not nearly the same. You would think that you wanted this thing so bad, that feeling, that dopamine would transfer over. Yeah. But it's really the build up, the chase. You know what I'm saying? That's why we always like. There's always going to be a new amount of money. To add to that conversation we were having earlier about like the 30 million stuff and blah, 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 what your dream life looks like. There's this old Ethiopian guy that works in my job. And I ask him, I'm like, "Yo, what's your dream car?" He goes, "I do not dream." He goes, "I do not dream." Wow. Later on, he comes to me, he's like, "My dream car is the fact that I have a car." Ooh. And I'm like, nah, like, it sounds cool to be content, but to me, I want more. But at the same time, it's like, it's a very profound, like, cool ability to, I guess, like, be okay with what you have.
For sure.
You know? Yeah.
Like to be content.
Yeah.
And that's something that God's been teaching me a lot. It's, man, it's a journey. Well, first of all, that was very well said. I got something for you, bro. Let's clap it. Let's do that again. It took a bit of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. There we go. And that make you feel like you're in a live.
No, that's funny. That's so funny. That is hilarious.
No, that's actually perfect timing for that. That's, took an L. It's okay, though. I forgot that it plays the other. Forgot to cues it.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
All right.
So, what is your perspective on life? Like, what defines reality for you?
So what do I believe, basically?
What do you believe in this? Let me stop being dramatic. But what do you believe?
Yeah. No, that one threw me I believe God exists, and I guess just to reference that earlier conversation or the conversation we were just having, I'm content in my ignorance. I'm content in not having all the answers. I don't believe in any particular religious framework or thought. School of thought, so where it's like, oh yeah, God, this is the one true, and God this, and you know what I'm saying? I believe that there is a creator, and he's kind of in the middle of wanting the best for us and ultimately being indifferent in the choices that we make and the life path that we go down. But I also think that the way that I don't like to say the universe because that's another word that's been but I believe that the way that our reality works is we have very, very heavy influence over what happens to us and how we react to things. I guess for me personally, I just go on trying to become the best version of myself. I don't always do my best, but I try.
You try.
Yeah.
Okay, so you believe there is a God.
Yeah.
But in terms of who the God is, you're kind of.
I think God is less of a who and more of a what. I think God is everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that this is not a Christian thing to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, but, be real, yeah.
Recently I did shrooms. Recently I did shrooms, right? Okay, so cool. So I'm out with my girl. Doing shrooms. We go on this hike. I'm going through this long journey. Boom, boom, boom. My quads are burning.
Wow.
And then we finally get to the peak, and it's this cliff that's overlooking the entire park area.
Yeah.
I get to the peak. I kid you not, my jaw drops. I say, "Oh my God!" And I'm just overlooking nature and the whole landscape. And I posted on my story, the beauty that I experienced is literally, it's you can't put it into words. I cannot put into words the impact that looking over that had on me. It was amazing, right? My girl, she asked me, what's your favorite part of this whole thing right now? And I said, ironically, my favorite part is everything, right? My favorite part is the unity of it all, the harmony of it all. Or it exemplified the true nature of God. That's what I feel.
So, but okay, what was your experience like in the church? I guess it kind of I guess got you out of it, or kind of just this isn't for me.
I would say that, the experience that I guess got me out of it. Well, I think first you have to ask, was I ever really in it? Secondly, we have to, acknowledge the fact that coming from African homes, religion is a huge aspect of the culture. And, it's a very personal walk, and sometimes you don't get a choice. A lot of times, they have you in church off the rip. You know what I'm saying?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday Bible study.
Yeah,
Sunday.
And it's not. I remember in my church, super strict. They would ask us it would be like super boring, like sermons and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. People falling asleep, going, doing some other stuff. And they would say things like, you know, if you don't want to be here, don't come, da da da. And I'm just like, why are y'all acting like you don't know that our parents forced us to be here? Stop lying. Doesn't the Bible say don't lie? You know what I'm saying? Like let's stop pretending. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think when I finally, I guess, started to think about things for myself, there were just questions that I wasn't okay with not having a satisfactory answer to. And the Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna lean on my understanding. You know, but the thing about it is, right? I oftentimes say belief is not a choice. Faith is not a choice. If you tell me the sky is blue, and I go outside and see that the sky is blue, I didn't choose to believe you. I saw for myself that the sky was blue, and I became convinced. I became convicted that the sky is blue. If you tell me that the sky is green, and I go outside and see the sky is blue, even if I say, yes, I agree the sky is green, I have not chosen to believe you. I don't believe the sky is green if I look up and see the sky is blue. It's the same way. So it's like, I haven't had a personal experience with the Christian religion to completely solidify me or like to say like, this is the truth and the path that you should be walking in the most, devout way. I do believe that there are certain spiritual experiences that you can have, that you will experience if you open yourself up to it. But I just don't know if, I don't know if it's unique in particular to Christianity. Another thing I wanted to say, when I was in high school, I got my phone taken for like 6 months, right? And basically my parents went through my phone and saw that I wasn't like a good Christian boy.
He wasn't a good kid.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so it sent me down a spiral of like really confronting a lot of the thoughts that I've been having that I never really like took time to like discuss with myself. And I thought one of the main ideas that I thought to myself is like, bro, you're not gonna tell me someone that gets in a plane and chooses to fly it into a building, someone that straps a bomb to themselves and screams, Allahu Akbar as they blow themselves up, is not a devout Muslim, and that what they believe is not true and authentic to them. Their path is not the one true path. They died about it. There is no challenging their devotion. They died about it. You know what I'm saying? And then on the same token, I would go to church and I would see these Christian old ladies rolling on the floor, crying, being taken over by the Holy Spirit. And I would just study them. I would just look at them, observe.
What type of, is it Pentecostal?
It's Pentecostal, yeah.
So they got praying in tongues and everything there.
Yeah. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, she's not faking it, bro. Like, I've seen people fake it. This person is not faking it. So, which is it? Yeah. You got, on one hand, you have somebody that believes what they believe so deeply that they're willing to die and kill about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then on the other hand, you have someone that's in like a trance state, you know what I'm saying? Crying and rolling on the floor as a grown adult in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you're going to deny either of these truths. So there has to be some type of like middle ground or some type of, dynamic thing that everybody can like, I don't know. But that's, yeah.
I would say, because I love the subject of truth.
Yeah.
And I think we should all be searchers of truth. Mm-hmm. I believe that it's up to us to find the truth. It's so important and so crazy how we literally almost demand truth in almost every area of our lives when it comes to relationships, when it comes to our health, our finances. When you're getting paid, you want the actual numbers you worked.
Yeah.
When you're getting a prescription, you want the actual, okay, how much should I take? You want truth.
Yeah.
When you were with the relationships and friendships, okay, did you cheat on me or not?
Where
were you last night?
Yeah.
You want the truth.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, okay, there's in terms of religion or something that kind of has to do with morality, we're almost like dismissive of it. It's like, okay, we don't really. Everybody can be right. I do some evangelism and sometimes, and then especially people who are Muslim, and most Muslims, when I ask them, okay, how did you arrive at your belief? Most people arrive at their beliefs strictly just because they grew up in it.
Exactly.
And I think that's a terrible mindset to
Yes.
have. It truly is, and that's why sometimes, and I don't care. I love it when some kids who grew up in church leave the church. I think you need to go and find yourself.
Yes.
You can't ride mommy's wave to heaven.
Yes.
You really cannot.
Yeah.
You really cannot. You have to have your own personal
Experience.
experience in whatever it is. You go find the truth. I love this king. Is a king called Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible. This king had a dream one day, right? And then back then, I love how like conscious they were, and it's something that I feel like we've lost. Everything's become numb now.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose the train of truth. We're gonna come back there.
Yeah. But he had a
But
dream.
yeah, he had a dream like Martin Luther King, and so this dream troubled him so deeply, because to them they knew, okay, dreams weren't just.
Yeah, they were like messages.
He called all the diviners, the people who did astrology. He called everybody, the Christians. He called all the spiritual people.
thought leaders. Yeah.
And in today's world, we can basically like summon all the beliefs, all the religions, all the worldviews. And he said, okay, I'm not even going to tell you the dream, since you guys all claim that you guys are the truth, right? That you guys have the true power or something like that. I'm going to find out the truth. Tell me the dream, and then tell me the meaning. He said, okay, I'm going to give you guys till, let's say, 3 o'clock tomorrow. If you guys don't tell me the dream and what it means, you're all dead, pretty much.
Oh, okay, that's
He's
what's up.
gonna like, I'm like, nah. So he's placing a demand on truth
Yeah.
to me that only truth can fulfill.
Yeah.
And I think, and coming back to like, us searching for truth and how we can't all be right. Which is why I don't believe all religions are the same.
Okay.
As much as people will say that. Like I say, I went evangelizing and stuff, and that's what they kind of say when it's like they kind of like, oh, no, I can talk to you about anything. But once I mention God, it's like, no, bro, come on, bro. We're all worshiping pretty much the same thing. Just love each other. And I'm like, that's not all. God is the same to everybody. We believe the same thing essentially. But that's where Daniel, they came to his house like, yeah, sort out like it's time. And he was like, no, just give me a night. And then he prayed. And then when he went to the king, he was able to tell the king the dream and what it meant. And it actually came to pass. And so people can say he was pretty much a bad king.
Yeah, he was. He sounds horrible.
But I love the fact that what he did. I just love that I guess lesson that you can. Forget all the terrible things that he did, but like that. Set everything before you, in a sense. Do some research. Don't just fall into something or believe something because you grew up in it or because you were told. Because that's what I find these days. And so, because even in the truth, I feel like you shouldn't also allow your experiences to define or to cause you to make a generalized statement of something. Like, okay, you had a bad relationship with a lady or something like that, and now all girls are scum.
Yeah.
All women are scum. You had a bad pizza. It was probably your first pizza, and I don't know, it had a bug in it, and so now all pizza is terrible.
Yeah.
Or you heard somebody play Beethoven wrong, but go listen to the actual original Beethoven. Get to know the actual source. So I say all that to say that I do believe that we should be searchers of truth, and there is only one. I kind of feel like I went but let me let you say something.
No, I mean it tracks. I think it's interesting. The only gripe that I have with it is, how do you know
Which one?
that? Yeah, because truth implies that what you're believing is authentic.
Yeah.
How do you authenticate what you've believed?
That's a good question. For me, going back to the story, like, so you can, let's say you I think for me, studying other religions has helped me a lot.
Okay.
Even though I believe I grew up in, it's crazy to say, it sounds so like, okay, I grew up in the truth or whatever.
Yeah.
But I believe my personal encounters and then just off the study that I've done myself, I try not to be ignorant. I really try to study the Muslim faith, what they believe in, Hinduism, and all these different type of things. And as you study it, that's actually a good question. But as you study it, I believe that you can, because truth is that which correlates to reality or fact. There are things that, okay, they said in the beginning God created the heavens and the world. Now you take science, because the people believe science and the Bible contradict, which I don't really
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
Yeah, so the same way that scientists can observe something and then kind of make it would take faith. I mean, there's an inner faith that has to, because you can't go back in time. But I believe that there's enough, it's enough out there for you to kind of make a proper,
Reasonable
conclusion.
assumption. Yeah.
With the right study, with the right time and effort that you put in. And I believe that God is real, and He definitely reveals Himself to those who have an open heart. Because I was going to read you something when you said that, something about like, do not lean on your own understanding.
Yeah.
It says, this is Jesus talking. It says, then He said, I tell you the truth. Unless you turn from your sins and become like little children, you will never get into the kingdom of heaven. And so, what do you think about that?
No. Why would I do that?
Why wouldn't you do that?
That sounds like BS.
It does?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Number one, I'm not a child. I think it's interesting, like,
Yeah.
the Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. Why did you make us logical beings with the capability to understand? It goes back to the whole conversation of free will. I'm going to give you free will so that you can choose. And then I'm going to implement like punishments if you don't choose what I tell you to choose.
Okay.
So my thing is, unless something makes sense to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why would I behave as I know he's like speaking like in parable, but it's for all intents and purposes, why would I behave and follow your lead as if I'm a child? When in my opinion, like, blind trust is not true conviction. I don't know, like it's almost like you're jumping out of a plane and you don't know if the parachute is going to deploy, but you know, you're a kid and your dad says, no, this parachute is going to deploy, jump. And you don't know if it's going to deploy, but because he's your dad, you jump. Is that conviction? Is that belief? If I was a true, this is just how I imagine it. If I was a true follower of a faith or God or something, you know what I'm saying? Or let's even say my current philosophy, how I think that your mental perspective influences influences how you react to things and how things will happen to you. There's a way that I speak about myself that I refuse, and there are ways that I refuse to speak about myself because I genuinely believe that it has a real impact on how I will react to the world. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason that I behave that way. So if you're telling me, have faith, turn away from your sins, that's cool, turn away from your sins, it's fine. Acting like a little kid or just trusting whatever you say, even though I don't like have enough to be fully convicted and lean on my own understanding, to me, I don't know.
I think that how I reason is that, okay, you have to first be convicted, and then that kind of applies.
Correct.
You first get the conviction. There has to be some type of encounter you have first with God.
And that is the foundation of your conviction.
I believe so.
Yes.
You start with that encounter, and then once you have that encounter, because you still have a lot of junk in your head, a lot of old ways.
Right.
So that's
that makes
how I
sense.
reason it.
That makes sense. I think that when putting it in that context, like, first you must be convicted, convert, and from there, to succeed as a follower of Christ, you must turn away from everything that you know, turn away from all your sins, and follow me as if you're a child. If you want to be successful as a disciple.
I'm trying to see, is there a way where, like, is there a real way that we can really put our, like, or hang our hats on and say, like, okay, you can really be convicted or just follow without the conviction. I think that's
No.
you can't.
I think that's the trap that a lot of people fall into
They try to
in
make
in the African community or in just extremely strict religious households. There is no conviction, there is force. And then as a result, I know the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Or at least, I mean, I may not know it as well as you, but I grew up on the Bible. A lot of those verses or a lot of those concepts and ideas I will never forget for as long as I live. But I think the Bible also says, it's not everybody that calls me Lord, Lord that will enter the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? So first you must be convicted. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I have an issue with the whole situation. Because
yeah,
how you gonna be mad at me for not being
convicted.
convicted? That don't make sense. If listen, I wouldn't have an issue with it if there was only heaven and no hell. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And only the true followers of Christ will be able to experience this this state of ecstasy and glee and all this cool stuff. There was a story. Now you might have to correct me on this one.
Yeah.
But Jesus, it may have been a parable, but remember the parable about the rich man trying to get into heaven. It's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle or something like that. And I think the way that it went was Jesus asked him to do a bunch of stuff, and he was doing it. He showed commitment, and then Jesus asked him,
okay.
"Give up all your worldly possessions and riches."
Okay, I noticed. So it was a young rich ruler or something like that, and he came to Jesus was like, what must I do to?
Yeah.
And then Jesus was like, everything he asks or says is for a reason. It's something because he's always looking at the heart.
Yeah.
Jesus as God and man on earth, he was operating in that way. So there was something because God requires all of us. I've been hit with it. Everybody who's on that genuine walk, they've been hit with it. Look at Abraham. It's just
Job.
He wants all, and he'll test you. And so, in that sense, he did ask Jesus. He said, "So, what can I do?" And Jesus was like, "Okay, one thing you lack, sell all your stuff." And you see, look at his response to that. He said he went away weeping. And I don't know if he came back.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
But like, it shows something in his heart that the goods and the money and the stuff was
Hold a higher priority
than God. Because even Jesus said that if you love your mother, your daughter, your child more than him, you're unworthy of him. And I'm sure you would have a.
But doesn't that, well, we're not even going to talk about that, but doesn't that contradict the idea that God looks at the heart? Because if somebody is coming to you saying, yo, I want to follow you, I want to, do this thing, but because of our human flesh, our human ways, and our, I guess, like commitment to the money, both of them genuinely wanted to be a follower of Christ.
But I believe that we can genuinely want to do many things, but it's actually doing it.
Okay.
And because it's like somebody who beats his wife, or a wife who beats,
Right?
a wife who beats her husband. It's like you could genuinely in your heart maybe say, "Oh man, I want to stop," but you keep beating the person. It's like, bro. And the Bible states that the heart is deceitful above all.
Okay.
Who can know it except God? I think a lot of times we can come to God and we do genuinely want to, but there's a certain deceptive factor in there that we are unaware of at times, which the young rich ruler, I believe, and all of us kind of fall victim to. That in as much as we want to know God, there's an unwillingness that God picks up in our heart that we are kind of unaware of. Maybe we're unwilling to pay the actual price, unwilling to do exactly what it takes to, okay, maybe I need to go to therapy to stop putting my hands on you. Because you can talk all day. I mean, and I do genuinely believe that, maybe the guy beating the wife genuinely doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of factors from upbringing.
Trauma
a lot of
and
factors,
stuff,
that it's just his natural. And then a lot of times after it, he's sorry, but like, bro, you true repentance is actually turning away from. Like, it has to be a point where you actually
Exactly.
do it.
Exactly.
Which is why I believe he waited to see, okay, He stopped Abraham when he was actually going to do it.
Yeah.
So, because you can deceive yourself. I can tell myself, God, I give you everything. And God's like, okay, do it.
Yeah, give me everything.
Yeah, and so I can genuinely really mean it. There are times where I'm like, God, I really want to let go of this thing. I really want to, but it's like, I couldn't in that time. And I was like, there was just a lot of barriers I had to break to get there. And I had to get there. Don't tell me, you really just do it. And he'll give you the grace, but sometimes it's a journey to maybe stop an addiction, to stop porn, to stop whatever it may be.
Bring it back to the bigger conversation, if I remember correctly. I just don't know. I'm not too fond of that idea.
Yeah.
If I'm looking to follow, the way that I interpret like this conversation, the Christian religion and things like that, I think Jesus one time said like the path to heaven is like narrow or something like that. So it's hard, and there are challenges and sacrifices that you're going to have to make. And I think that in order to get to heaven, in order to get good things, sacrifice is cool. That makes sense to me. If you fall short of those sacrifices, why do you have to burn?
The way I understand it, man, is heaven is being with God.
Yeah.
And hell is
Absence of him.
Absence of his presence, of his love and stuff like that. And so where do you want to be, in a sense? I don't know why he made the lake of fire, and it says it wasn't intended for humans and stuff like that. But maybe he could have made a lake of fire for the Satan, and then maybe another little
like a purgatory,
gray area,
yeah,
where maybe life is literally everything's just black and white.
Yeah,
maybe that'd be cool too.
Yeah,
I've come to the place where it's like I didn't make the rules, bro. Like I really had to get to that place myself of like, we call it brokenness, of like that little child that he's talking about. Yes, study. Yes. Seek after wisdom and understanding, but then do it with a humble cloud over your head. Like, you will not know everything about God. In fact, if you knew everything about God, he wouldn't be God.
Yeah.
So, for me, even with that question, there's a lot of questions I myself had, even from when we used to speak before. Who's really the evil one? It's so fun. But yeah, like, I used to be frustrated. Bro, I'm not lying to you.
To be molded or to become what he wants you to become, that molding process is going to be gruesome. And sometimes he's going to put you through things that absolutely make no sense at all. But it's necessary for you to become, like, that's what you need to experience in order to become who he intends. And that does give me a certain sense of, it makes it better, but it doesn't make it good to me. But it does make it okay. Because I can see like boxing, for example.
I've been working on some boxing too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was going to show you some stuff.
They say when you're in camp, like Camp 4 fight, when you're in fight camp, go through hell so that the actual fight can feel like heaven, or at least earth. And so, like, for example, in my gym, we have a bunch of like amateur guys, like me, for example. I don't have any amateur fights, and I just started boxing like a few years ago, but I'm in here sparring professional fighters that have way more experience, that are way heavier than me, way smarter than me, way faster, in better shape. And what they do is they put you through the ringer and they crush you, literally, so that when I meet my equivalent in a real amateur fight, I'll smoke them. Yeah. Because I'm used to much deeper waters. Yeah. So in the same way, it's the idea of sacrifice and killing your old self to become your more evolved self. That principle is, you can observe it through many different aspects of life. So I do appreciate that. But making them wait 25 years for something and asking them to kill them is crazy.
It is. It is. It's a and that's the thing. Was like I just came to the agreement. I'm in the game.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and no matter my reservations about something, it's the rules of the game, and I can't. No matter how frustrated I am, what does that actually change? Okay, like you're mad, and then he knows you're mad, and I'm sure he's sympathizing. But at the end of the day, I gave that up, and I still do. You know, of course, I'm human, but like my little attitude that I was throwing, trying to understand everything, it never brought me more frustration. Which is
Yeah.
why at times when I read about this, my other guy in the Bible, I call him BB. That's my guy, bro. It's blind Bartimaeus.
Oh,
He was a
okay.
guy
Blind Bartimaeus.
who was he was born blind,
Uh-huh.
and Jesus was walking through the street
Uh-huh.
of somewhere, you know, probably popular, you know, people were just like, there was a lot of people who were making commotion, like, oh, it's Jesus, and he heard that it was Jesus. And so for me, he what he does then always kind of makes me tear up because I know like that's not who I would have been. And knowing you, that's not what you would have done either. Let me tell you what he does. So Jesus is coming. He's born blind, by the way. This is God who came down to earth for us, right? To save us, to make us better. He's healing people, all type of stuff. I didn't ask to be blind. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I'm going through there's so much I'm missing, so much I'm going through, sitting on the street begging every day. And so, but look at the heart that he has. Because there's no way in my life I've ever been frustrated and like, you know, getting bucked with God and then I've got an answer or got something. He just probably doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Even if you want to talk to God sensibly. And there's room to really express yourself in a respectful manner to God. Like, you know, be real, but then also just dial it back, you know, okay, all right, I let that out. What was that about? Come on, like let's talk. And he always meets you at that moment where you're like, you humble yourself, because like, who are you to sit there and try to like, what do you know? That's what he told Job in the Bible. Is like, do you know what I made rain out of? Do you know this and that? Because Job was kind of arguing like something about God and like, you know, his righteousness or something like that. He took a whole chapter just going through like, okay, do you know how I lined the borders of the sea? Like going through things I never thought of. You don't even know everything that consists of a human body. We just here and we getting buck with God. Like, so nonetheless, BB, he's sitting on the street. He hears that Jesus is coming and he starts crying out, Son of David, have mercy on me. And that's such a beautiful heart to me, man, because it's a heart that I've always desired. I always pray that God take away the heart of stone, give me the heart of flesh, because it's only in that heart where, you know, that broken heart where I really believe that you encounter God for sure. Because for me, if it was me like years ago, I'd be sitting there like upset, angry, forgotten, like, you're walking past. Why do I have to call out to you? You don't see me? You don't see me sitting here? You came to save me, right? I would almost feel as though like, you don't care. But he didn't have that mindset that I had. He sat there and he was like, Son of David, and pray like, bro, what do you mean have mercy on you? What did you do, bro? So I sit there and I'm like, man, there's just something that I've been missing or something like that. And he genuinely, he had this understanding of like brokenness and humility that even when it may not have been his fault, he was praying for mercy. And then people were telling him to shut up, and he cried louder. And he had to keep crying and crying. Like, I don't know if Jesus didn't hear him or it was like, but then to me, because Jesus, I don't want to, you know, neglect his human nature, though he was God. It's not like in the human mind, there's no way you can just know every thought at once. You probably explode or something like that. So I don't want to like neglect his human nature. So I'm sure he didn't hear him, but nonetheless, I just felt as though, and yes, he did receive his sight, but he had to keep crying out. And then to me, I'm like, man, I don't know if I would have done that. I would have heard, okay, Jesus is coming. You came into my lifetime. Why don't you look for me? Why do I have to cry? So that would be my prideful type of conversation in my heart. But which outcome got the results? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe if he had that, and he could be valid in his thinking, but it's never the heart that produces anything. So that's what I got from that story. That's why he's my guy, because as much as I authentically feel what I feel, I admire that kind of like
Humility.
that. Yeah, I truly do, bro. Because if it was me, I'd be like taking the dust. Like, oh, he's here. Oh, okay, okay. I'd probably switch religions and stuff like that. Like, yeah, okay, now, what did I do? Like, why don't I look for him? Like, yeah, but like, he got his sight. He kept crying, and Jesus turned around for him. And so I would.
You gave me a lot to think about just now. It's very heavy. I just don't know. Because I'm like, people become so obsessed with the idea that God is good. I don't believe God is good.
He calls himself good.
My opinion is that God is indifferent. And
You find it
ultimately,
different for me. So I'm sorry.
indifferent is to be neutral and to be fluid in the way that, like, it could go that way, it could go that way. Ultimately, I am not emotionally triggered by either scenario. I feel like in that same regard, God also looks at us and says, hey man, I mean, I would like for you to get your 30 million. You can also be homeless. It's all, whatever. It's about the decisions that you make. Oh, you decided to do meth? Okay, well, it looks like you're going to be homeless. Cool. And in that regard, like, he's like indifferent. I think that in that situation where you're an all-powerful, all-knowing being, and you still, I guess, like, oh, what's up?
Question.
Uh-huh.
Do I have permission?
Yeah.
Sure. So with the indifferent thing, I just want to, I guess, challenge something.
Okay.
Are you saying like, okay, whether you're, I don't want to make it seem like it's about being rich or it's like, okay, but then let's say his purpose for you is to be, okay, you're rich or you're wealthy, good, whatever that looks like for you, healthy, joyful in life, content, whatever. And then you're not, you're homeless because of your decisions and stuff like that. Are you saying that he's removes himself and is like,
My opinion is that I'm not sure that God has a specific purpose for us. I know that's probably like, not what
like
you're-
I can't let you go off that easy.
Okay, go ahead.
Because why?
Well, like I said, I feel like he's indifferent. If you're indifferent, you're not leaning to any particular side. I like if his purpose for us is to be rich, then let his will be done, and I will be rich. No,
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay, I guess you're wondering why. Like, because of free will, and there's a role we play. From my understanding, it's a partnership. Yes, it's God who gets who ultimately can get you there. Because I don't believe you can. The purpose He has for you and for me, whatever purpose He has for you, because you're not here without purpose. So I know. I know.
I'm gonna go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but everything that was made is made for. If you look at the design of the world, everything
Has a purpose.
We talked
Yes.
about the last
Yes.
time. Everything from
Yes.
how oxygen is made
Yes.
to decomposition of animals and everything like that.
Yes.
Everything kind of like
There's harmony,
It's
unity.
too
Intentional.
to be like
Yes. Whatever.
yeah. So in the same sense, to say that God doesn't have a purpose for you or for a person, let's just tackle that first. So you're saying that you don't believe God has a purpose for.
I'm not sure that he does.
But if everything else is purposeful, why wouldn't He have a purpose for someone?
Because we're sentient beings and we have free will.
That doesn't have to do anything with the actual Him having a purpose for you, though. In my opinion.
I'm not saying that this is my position and I'm dying on this, so I can be convinced. But I don't know if God has a specific and particular purpose for us because we're free to do what we want to do. And like, to me, it's like, if you have a purpose for something, well, I guess having a purpose for something and willing it to go that way and deciding that it's going to go that way are not necessarily the same things.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's why I was trying to look at the correlation between purpose and free will. Because the purpose of this phone could be to call somebody.
Yes.
But to
You could use it
John
for-
Wick,
Yeah.
this is a weapon of mass destruction. to John Wick.
Yeah.
So it's like, in that sense, it can
Okay, that's an interesting thought, and I would probably have to think about that more before I come with like a real position on it.
Man, let's get into the outro, man, because
All right,
we gotta rush into this game.
very good conversation.
Yeah. I do have one more question. If
I can make it quick.
okay, if Christianity were true,
Yeah, and I end up dying.
no.
Oh,
If Christianity were true, would you be Christian? Would you follow Christ
if I get convicted,
if it was true? Okay.
yes. If I get convicted,
I appreciate that.
I'm not against. I'm not against becoming Christian. I'm against pretending to believe something
love
that I
that.
don't genuinely
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I had so much I could say about it too, but let's get into some business, man. So I know you're not Christian, but
You're about to have me spell Bible names?
bro.
I was about to say.
But I just kind of just for my own pleasure. I kind of just want to like see where you're at in terms of your Christian score. I would say.
All
Where
right.
you at on the spectrum?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? you may be like, you know, what do you call it? Agnostic. You could be even without the religious terms. You could be like maybe you're 60% not Christian. Maybe you're 50% not good.
Okay.
Maybe you're leaning towards atheism.
Christian diagnosis.
Yeah, maybe there's no hope. So I just want to see like where we are in the spectrum. Okay, so question number one, man.
All right.
No pressure, man. How many books are there in the Bible?
Isn't it like 66? You're not gonna tell me?
Should I tell you now or should I tell you after? Do you want to give me score after? Okay. 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 Who wrote the Bible?
Okay, well,
It's like a BCR response. You remember BCRs?
yeah, sure. I would say God spoke through multiple individuals to write down what his message. So essentially, God wrote the Bible through proxy.
Okay. That's an interesting response, man. Who was the first king of Israel?
Is it Saul or I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. Moving on. Number 4. You have 10, by the way. 10.
Okay.
So 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Was it Adam's fault or was it Eve's fault? This is maybe this is kind of like a.
It's a perspective thing.
Yeah.
I'd say it was God's fault. But was it Adam's fault or was it Eve's fault? Yeah, I mean, it's just multiple people were complicit in that situation.
Including God.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Who was the wisest man in the Bible?
Damn it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's the wisest man in the Bible? Solomon.
You sure?
Yeah. Because God came to him in a dream and said, "What do you want?" He asked for wisdom.
Did he?
He did.
Okay.
He did. Yeah, and he also had all the wives too.
Okay. Who wrote majority of the books of the Bible? 5 seconds, man.
Who was that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Matthew or something. I don't know. Or I don't know. Let's say Matthew.
Okay. Number 7. How many plagues did God send to Egypt?
Was it? Oh my God. This is 7 or 6? One of the two. I don't know.
6.
Yeah, so one of those. 7 or 6.
76.
I know he sent locusts. He sent the angel of death to kill all the kids.
The kids.
He's
Could have just sent John Wick.
Yup.
What's the longest book in the Bible?
The longest? What do you mean longest? The most chapters?
Yeah.
Psalms.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't sound sure.
I'm not sure.
Last 2.
Okay.
How many times did Peter deny Jesus?
3. Easy money. Come on, son. I'm a real Bible baby. Come on, son.
Okay, that's okay. Last one. That's a bit. This is actually the one I was going to ask you. Last one. What tool did Samson use?
The skull of a lion, right? Or a bear.
To kill 1,000 people. Okay, but I'll give you one last chance.
What tool did Samson use to kill 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Can I know when he did that?
It was
When he was a prisoner?
no. Let me even make sure it was 1,000 people.
What tool did he use to kill 1,000 people?
You were on track though. You just got the wrong animal.
It wasn't the skull of. It was like the jawbone, maybe.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Over what? Okay, over what? You said lion and bear?
It wasn't a lion. It wasn't a
I'll give
lion.
you one more animal, man. 7 out of 10.
What does that get me?
Just hope.
I'm not a shoo-in.
You're not a lost cause.
Okay.
That's hope for you. So yeah, man. Let's clap it up for Tochi, guys. It's been an awesome guest, man.